Casey Ashmore in the studio wrapping up this series on inventory and appraisement. So back to what it is. It's a way to fast track property division. It's sworn to, right? Which means it carries consequences for being dishonest on it, right? You're hiding assets. Those assets are later going to be carved out and awarded completely to the other side, probably along with some other penalties you're not going to like. So you have to be truthful on it, and you have to use it to your advantage by disclosing all of your separate property and anything that can be traced to separate property during the marriage to help you rebut the community property presumption, right? That go back to that pie that I was talking about. It's a big piece of pie, and you are slicing out from that pie that this piece of that pie is traceable to a separate property inheritance or gift, and that should be awarded to that spouse. And then also listing out all of the debts, all of the community debts, or in some cases, some separate property, right? Student loans that a spouse took out prior to marriage, right? For a medical degree, a law degree, a dental degree, some sort of professional training, right? Those debts can be attributable, especially since that spouse is going to keep the investment, right, which was in their brain. They're going to keep the benefit of that investment. Then those debts go with that spouse. They're not community. And of course, there's a good argument that college debts that were accumulated during a marriage also, because that spouse is going to retain that knowledge, there's no way that gets divided up between the two spouses. That's an asset, and that's a liability that belongs solely to the spouse who incurred it. So, but other things, right? Credit cards, loans for homes, businesses, boats, jet skis, mortgages. These are the things that need to be listed out that are almost always, not always, but generally are community debts. They need to be known. They need to be accounted for and they need to be sworn to, so that if assets are hidden and discovered later, there are consequences, right? And more important, if the inventory is sworn to and the inventory, the case actually proceeds to a final trial, then the document in itself is admissible, right? It's admissible as a prior sworn statement of the party who created the inventory and appraisement. So, example, husband and wife in a original divorce proceeding do not reach an agreement on property division at mediation or through informal discussions, so they have to proceed to final trial. And the next thing you know, we've got a scenario where there's two documents that can be used to question the spouse, and they're automatically admissible, right? As essentially they're as good as prior courtroom testimony, because they were done under oath, and there will be some questions about the thoroughness and the transparency, and that's one of the reasons why you got to make sure that what's included in there is truthful and as detailed as possible. This is not something to phone it in on, and that's sometimes hard to communicate to clients about, well, why do I have to do this? The reason why is because it's to your advantage. It's to your advantage to be detailed and transparent, because if they're not, there's going to be consequences. And you always want to be, right? You always want to be wearing some armor. And the way you can suit up with some armor, easiest way you can do that with an inventory and appraisement is be transparent and be truthful, right? You're going to have some armor on when they're saying, Judge, so-and-so didn't give me all the stuff. I'm like, well, look at my inventory, Judge. What else do you want me to do? I mean, I looked everywhere for everything. I looked in the trunk. I looked in the attic. I've listed all the assets. I've listed all the debts. I've listed everywhere I'm tracing my separate property, inheritances, and what we purchased with them, and so you've got some armor on. You've got a way to protect yourself, your client, from any allegation that they were evasive or less than truthful in that inventory. And that's a great position to be in if there's going to be some battle, especially a final trial battle where the judge has to make a decision based on, in part, sworn testimony in the courtroom, as well as prior sworn testimony, those inventory and appraisement documents. So thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. Leave me a question or comment on any video platform where you see this. And I'll look forward to hearing from you. More in the studio coming up next.